Welcome to the Sydney Property Muppets podcast. My name is Lawther, and with me, as always and forever...
Wow, Chris, buyer's agent. No, I'm being a bit silly, but hopefully a little bit on point with the topic today.
What is the topic today, Chris? Sorry, I think I need to tone down
You
my energy
tone
for
down.
this.
I'll go to Chris mine, you bring yours in a little bit.
What is the topic today?
I'll bring out a bit more than that. Very simple, buyer's fatigue. You know, we're that just before Christmas. There's been a time where some buyers have been looking for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Obviously, those people out there, thank you for listening. Just this will be your last podcast, no doubt, before Christmas. Merry Christmas for you. But really talking about, okay, those people have been looking for that period of time, 3 months, 9 months, 12 months. They've just obviously can't buy now, effectively. They've just stopped, and they've got a lot of buyer fatigue. Are you seeing that yourself?
Chris, I'm going to be real honest. As a real estate agent, sometimes there's not much honesty in real estate, but no, as a real estate agent, I'm bugging myself, man. I've probably smashed it for 2 years, working hard, haven't had a proper holiday, and I'm actually exhausted myself.
You're getting away, aren't you?
Yeah, I will be going to Denmark, but I think that's probably where we're going to head today with the topic. Is that we're not machines. We can't go 24/7. Even machines break down.
No, and so do the buyers and even sellers. Like they're at a point now. Definitely the fatigue set in. I know with my clients, even myself, like this is a time to sort of reflect. Really assess where they're up to in terms of reflecting on where they're up to and determining what they're then looking for from there. So maybe this time talking about reflection.
Yep.
Good time for us to give them maybe some. We've sort of thought we'd talk through 3 of our top tips for those buyers with fatigue on how to start up in next year.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I reckon good tips. Don't do drugs. Go see Healthy Harold. Eat some Mars bars.
I don't know what Healthy Harold is. Also, I'm also supposed don't do drugs, but Healthy Harold.
For those that are young enough, old enough, something like that. Basically, a healthy thing the government had where they'd come around with a person in a van, you'd watch some videos, and then this person would go, every 30 year 6 kids are listening as a person puts their hand into a puppet.
Okay.
A giraffe, I think it was a giraffe. And
I like the way you said those who what was it, aren't old enough or whatever it is.
Old enough, young enough.
I'm definitely too old to have known that because that was after my time. But anyway, let's get into 3 tips to help those buyers with fatigue.
Do you want to start us off, Chris?
Indeed. So, look, the simple one is have your pre-approval back in order. Do a pre-approval check on your mortgage. If your mortgage was approved in, say, October or even earlier, by the time you get to the middle of January, it's basically not worth the paper it's written on. You really have to get a new one done. So, whilst everyone is taking a break, it's probably good to double check that, reach out to your mortgage broker and just see if there's any changes there to be had as well.
I was going to say, to add to that as well, I think it's important is that, and why we talk about having a bit of a break, is January, it's a new race. We want you to be starting all cylinders, all 8 cylinders or 10 cylinders, whatever car you're driving. You need to be going from...
We talked last episode, that second week of January can be a hot time to market. Last thing to do is have a property you really want and then realise your pre-approval is not it and you miss out on that one.
It's
and then
deflated for the start of the year. And so I actually have a story of that, Chris. It was to do with someone I knew personally, and they were looking at buying into the market, not the Sydney market, a different market, and very good saver. They had some really good savings. Very good employment.
Yep.
All those things. Not a big spender as well. Quite good with their spending.
Yep.
And they were ready to go out and purchase.
Not seeing any issues. What was the issue when they got their pre-approval done?
So the mortgage broker
Yep.
came back and unfortunately let them know that they could only borrow $400,000.
And what were they anticipating it to be?
6 maybe at a stretch, 700,000.
50%, maybe a bit more less than what they thought they could spend.
And one of the brokers actually told them if this was a year and a half to 2 years ago, you'd be borrowing probably 40% more.
Yeah, right. So things have changed, there's rates going up and so forth. So really important there to have your pre-approval done. It might surprise you, and always surprise me how many times buyers are about to pull the trigger on buying something, and that's the first time they actually go off, and instead of just, they might have initially looked at one of the bank websites and done a calculation.
How good are those borrowing calculators?
Well,
Are they 100% accurate, or they might be tilted into certain
well,
favours?
they're definitely checked from the government, right? So they look at the average spending habits for somebody. So whatever data you're putting in, it basically does benchmark you against the average. But banks are going to make sure that it's favourable for you because they want you to pick up the phone and go, wow, I can spend, as your analogy or your story, $700,000. I need to speak with you, Mr. and Mrs. Bank, to get that done. And then once you have discussions, they look at your spending habits. They look at the last 3 months. And you might have a lot of subscriptions, KO and Disney
Netflix.
or something, Netflix. You might have some spending habits. You might enjoy a gamble. You might enjoy some drinks, some social.
$10 coffees times
$10
2
coffee.
each day.
So they'll look at those, and so typically your mortgage rate will suggest to you, look, let's spend a 3-month period really dialing those down, get them under control, and that'll help you with your spending habits. So really important there. Tip number 2, I think you have a tip here.
Yes, I'm big on this one. Plan your search like you were planning dates with your significant other.
Right. Well, that sounds very romantic.
Now, if you're not planning dates with your significant other,
Do that too.
start it. I'm
Right,
up to actually now I'm on 122 dates with my partner.
Wow, that's a weird thing to know precisely.
It's not just make a little note. I just think it's something romantic. My partner loves it.
Is it actually 122?
No, I'm being serious. It's 122.
Good stuff. No, good stuff.
Which from
It's a romantic at heart, this boy.
one of my bosses would be like, but
Sure,
no,
yeah.
we absolutely love it. But
That's good, that's good.
I think very important is if whatever it is, if you don't plan it,
Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
correct.
And this is almost, I like to refer to it, you're competing in a professional industry. And I don't just mean from a buyer's agent or real estate. You need to attack this like it is a profession. Like, this is a big investment. I think you were saying a big investment.
Yeah.
You want this. You need to be making sure you're mentally refreshed, you're energetic, you're ready to go, and you're firing on all cylinders.
I think it's important. And I'd say, look, book out from the second sort of weekend in January, book out the next 5 weekends. Dedicate those weekends just to looking at property or assessing them. This is going to be a $700,000 to multi-million-dollar property investment. If you can't get 5 weekends clear, you're kidding yourself. If you take one of those weekends away, it's already decreasing the chance you buy them because you'll miss out a property, then have to go back and see it next week. You'll be unsure. So really dedicating that time to it and really making sure that you're each and every weekend dedicated. Tough as well because it is summer. We love the beach. There's weddings going on, but definitely think you just got to block it out. Be a bit selfish during that time.
For the third tip, Chris. Now, I think
Our number 1 tip.
Sorry, number one tip.
Thank you.
I think if you're a first home buyer or you're fresh into the market,
Yep.
my idea is like try and see as much as you can. Don't murder yourself over it, but try and see as much as you can so you know what you like.
Yep.
However, if you've been searching for 3+ months, any tips there?
But I think, again, coming back to the time of the year it is, you need to reflect on what you've been looking at last 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. What you've seen sell. You can look at REA, look at previous sales history. Determine what you can actually, I'd use the word ruthless. Go back through your original criteria and be ruthless. If everything selling in your budget is facing west and everything outside your budget is facing east, but you wanted east, well, you might have to sacrifice east. We talked about the previous episode. It may be that, maybe criteria of the house, or it may be the location itself. Be ruthless on your criteria so you know that when it comes into January, you have the real confidence going, I know that our budget can achieve X, let's go.
These are the 4 properties we're going to see. If you've been searching for a while, it's like boom, boom, boom. These are the properties we're seeing. You can rule out the stuff that you know.
Yeah, with confidence and surety. Hard thing to do. Easy to say, hard thing to do.
Yes.
All right, let's move into our 3 quick questions.
We're getting better at this, Chris, aren't we?
Well, I've definitely learned to be better. So anyway, what this is we each ask each other 3 questions. We don't know what each other's going to ask of the other person. We need to keep the answers short and sharp, potentially, hopefully under 1 word, but sometimes we can't.
Yep.
We do the best we can. And what's our 1 rule?
You can't explain your answer.
Explain/defend, I'd say.
Defend.
Yep.
There is one caveat though, is at the time of that asking the question, if we genuinely feel that someone might actually take that advice to heart, because generally the first question is related to the topic, we will allow a little bit of leeway with the defence just to make sure everyone is on the same page.
Yeah. Okay, I'll kick us off this week with question number 1.
I'm up, Chris.
So we're in, as I said, in Christmas, New Year's period. We're going to turn off realestate.com domain. Need to clear our head and stop those emails, or at least stop looking at them. When is the first time or period in January that you start looking at REA and domain again? When do you need to start looking?
I think potentially between day 5 and 7.
Day 5 and 7. I love the way we get that to one word answer. Good. Okay. Question number 2 for me. Let's go, Kurt.
It's hyphenated.
Hyphenate. Oh, that means 3. Yeah.
What is the aspect of a property search you are being most ruthless with your clients, or people should be with themselves?
What aspect?
Yeah, so whether is it price, location, specific things they're looking in the house, what's something...
Probably a simple one there, layout.
Layout?
Yeah, layout is imperative. I won't be able to defend. All right, this one actually interesting. I wrote this down and went, I wonder what he'll say. So you got a 250 square metre block.
Yep.
Right? You can buy an established double-storey house or an established single-storey house. Same number of bedrooms, same number of bathrooms. One's got stairs, obviously. One's got stairs, one's got more grass, right? Which one would you buy?
Does the upstory have like more rooms overall?
No, same number of rooms, same number of square internal footprint.
2-story.
Double story, beautiful. All right, question number 4 for me.
Which lenders have you had good experiences with?
Banks?
Yep, banks, lenders.
CBA has been the best one I've dealt with. I know it sounds a bit. I'm Clarke buyer's agent, and they're called Bank Australia, so there's nice little initialisms there.
Oh, yeah.
But I have found my experience with my clients and them. I know we're defending a bit, but none of the rest are bad. But I've just found them the better ones or the top echelon for me.
Well, they do hold, I think, 30% market share.
Correct. I know you're defending for me. Okay, is it on me now? Yeah, it is on me. Well, question number 5. Selling a property. I know we're going to talk a bit off, but I wanted this question in there. We're worried about our grass. Do we just leave the grass, it's okay, a bit patchy? Do we leave the grass, or do we go with just really good artificial grass as a replacement? Yes or no?
Patchy.
Oh, leave it as is. Okay, cool. Nice.
Leave it as is.
Yep. I actually forgot there I was meant to do a personal question, so I did a property one, another one. But
that's all right.
next week I'll get 2 personals in.
Question 3 is, will you support my unrealistic motorsport dream with a $500,000 funding donation?
No. I love you, buddy. I'll support the mustache for November, but otherwise, no, my friend. No dice. Well, Merry Christmas to everybody, and to you, Kurt.
Thank you. Merry Christmas as well, Chris.
We've got another episode next week, which will be just dropping before New Year's. Thank you, listeners. Like, subscribe, share, get amongst comments, or let us know what you like as a topic.
And as always, this is general in nature, so we try and be as accurate as we can with the information, but please know that your individual circumstance is individual and unique, and so please speak to your trusted advisors in whichever field you need to speak to them. Beautiful. Well, thank you for dropping by. This is the Sydney Property Muppets podcast. Have a fantastic Christmas. Turn off. Turn off.